I'm Matt Miller down here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange talking with Joe Saluzzi from Themis Trading. He has a report that he's given exclusively to us here at Bloomberg showing that the trades that you see on the indexes might not make up everything, or rather that the index may not be made up of all of the trades that are done nationwide. So, Joe, it's a little bit complicated, but basically you're saying we're not seeing the true levels intraday here. Why?
Intraday is the key word there, and I'm glad we're down here in New York because this is about 30% of the New York Stock Exchange listed stocks trade here. Only 30%. It used to be a lot more pre-Reg NMS back in 2007. Well, where are the other trades are happening across various dark pools, market centers, different exchanges. But what we found is that the major indices are only calculated based on intraday primary exchange, or what's done down here. So if trades are happening elsewhere, it's not calculated into the index, which is a disparity amongst intraday. Now, if you had a direct data feed, which the exchange will be glad to sell you, you can basically come up and calculate your own index value and then know that there's a difference amongst the two. And I was just been watching as we were waiting, the Dow whipped up and down 25 points. How do I know what the real value is if they're not calculating it based on every single trade going across the consolidated tape?
So you're saying, because I'm thinking automatically, how can I game the system with this kind of information? And you're saying if you have the right feeds, if you pay the money for the right feeds, you can see maybe the direction that it could go by looking at the true index price and the index price you get from the exchange.
There's a difference, right? So we didn't draw too many conclusions from the paper. What we wanted to do, our clients, we need to inform them of what's going on. We want to make sure that everything that we know, we tell them. So we did this study and we figured it out, and then we put out a paper and it said if somebody else wants to take a look exactly, is there an ETF arbitrage, is there something else? Hey, that's somebody else can figure that out. But like you said, I can envision there's two different values here. If I've got direct data, look, we trade in nanoseconds, right? There's machines up in Mahwah's where the action is down here, right? There's a big 400,000 square foot facility for data co-location. Nanosecond trades, yet I can't get an index value based on every single trade? That to me sounds like there's something going on there. Why can't you just put every trade in the index and then I'd be happy? It's very simple.
Hey, Joe, you said you guys didn't draw too many conclusions from this, but what do you think are kind of the significant implications of this?
Well, I mean, Carol, there's lots of ETFs, obviously. They've exploded over the past few years. There's futures, there's options. There could be lots of different things. But again, I don't want to go that far as to draw the conclusion. But what we did notice is that these trades aren't in there. We checked this out. We've called the exchanges. We've called the providers of the indices. And this is happening. And it's a very simple fix. Just turn on every single trade and have it go into the index. If anybody wants to read the paper, it's on our website, and then they can go into some more detail as to what we found.
I wonder, you did call the exchange and you talked to the guys who run these systems. Did they say that there are any plans to include all the trades in the indexes in the future?
What we heard, and not necessarily from exchange officials, but we heard this from others, is that the reason why they're not included is because of potential errant trades that are happening on these other ECNs or dark pools. But, that's not really a good excuse because an errant trade could happen down here. And one other point, by the way, back on May 6th of 2010, the big flash crash day, some people thought that the Dow was actually down over 1,200 points because trades that didn't happen here on the New York Stock Exchange were not included. For instance, Procter & Gamble, it traded as low as $39 on other exchanges, but over here it only traded as low as $56. Why did that trade not get included in the index value? So if you do the numbers, it's actually worse, and that's when you really need to know. In times of volatility like today, I need to know exactly where that index is right now, to every second.
All right. Hey, Joe, thanks so much for joining us. Joe Saluzzi from Themis Trading. You can check out his white paper on their website. We told you about it first here on Bloomberg. Now,